Nice, and my company is Tech Time. And Tech Time offers one-on-one or small group training sessions at your home or in a public setting with lessons that are tailored to your specific wants and needs. I also conduct classes to businesses, 55 and over communities, organizations like this one. And basically, we help you learn technology. So anywhere, how to use your computer, your iPhone, your iPad, applications, along with conducting classes. We teach how to use Word, Excel, PowerPoint, etc. And I want to thank Alicia for giving me this opportunity to present this morning. So the topic we're going to discuss today is called Phishing, Scams, and Protecting Your Identity. So phishing, what is phishing? So it's an attack that attempts to steal your money or your identity by getting you to reveal personal information, such as credit card numbers, bank information, passwords on websites that pretend to be legitimate. Cyber criminals typically pretend to be reputable companies, friends, or acquaintances in a fake message, which contains a link to a phishing website.
Okay, let's talk about phishing. No, not that phishing. Phishing is a kind of online scam. You know, you're contacted by a person or company, often through email, regarding something important. You click on a link and are then asked to give away valuable information, like a password or bank account number. But nobody ever falls for this, right? Wrong. If phishing scams didn't work, they wouldn't exist. But how come they work so well? 1. We love to click, and the internet was made for clicking. It's that simple. Click, 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 clickety, click. 2. Our smart brain loves to take shortcuts and predict things. Phishing scams use lookalike web and email addresses that are spelled wrong, and we still get fooled. 3. We are hardwired to respond to emotions. Curiosity, trust, fear, desire, generosity. 4. Urgency. Phishing scams always prompt us to act fast. What do these 4 points all have in common? They can cause an automatic reaction, bypassing our critical thinking. Time to put phishing scams under the microscope. Favorite channels: email, phone call, SMS. Common traits: unexpected, asking to bypass a usual process, trying to trigger an emotion. Most efficient when we are tired, stressed, or conversely, very happy. Believe it or not, we are more likely to be fooled right before a vacation or after receiving really good news. If faced with what could be a phishing attempt, stop, then look at it again more closely for details. Do a double verification by searching online for information on the company that has contacted you or telephoning the person that has just emailed you. With this knowledge, you are now more prepared to escape phishing. No, not that phishing.
So what does this mean? So phishing is usually done through emails, ads, phone calls, or by websites that look similar to sites you already use. So for example, someone who is phishing might send you an email that looks like it's from your bank so that you'll ask them information about your bank account. Phishing emails or sites might ask for usernames, passwords, including password changes, social security numbers, personal identification numbers, credit card numbers, your mother's maiden name, your birthday. So ways to recognize a phishing email. So urgent call to action or threats. So be suspicious of emails that claim you must click, call, or open an attachment immediately. Often they'll claim you have to act now to claim a reward or avoid a penalty. Creating a false sense of urgency is a common trick of phishing attacks and scams. They do that so you won't think much about it or consult with a trusted advisor who may warn you away. Spelling and bad grammar. Professional companies or organizations usually have an editorial staff to ensure customers get quality professional content. If an email message has obvious spelling or grammar errors, it might be a scam. These errors are sometimes the result of awkward translation from a foreign language, and sometimes they deliberate in an attempt to evade filters that try to block these accounts. Generic greetings. An organization that works with you should know your name, and these days it's easy to personalize an email. If the email starts with a generic "Dear Sir" or "Madam," that's a warning sign that it might really be your bank or a shopping site. Suspicious links or unexpected attachments. If you suspect that an email message is a scam, don't open any links or attachments that you see. Instead, just hover your mouse over, but don't click the link to see if the address matches the link that was typed in the message. Social media don'ts. So don't include personal information, such as your home address. Whoops, sorry. Don't include personal information, such as your home address or your phone number in your public profile. Don't accept friend requests from strangers. Don't download apps via links on social media unless you need them, and confirm they are from a trusted source. Don't take social media quizzes or surveys that ask personal questions, even ones that sound harmless. Don't click on suspicious links, even in posts from people you know. Their accounts may have been hacked. Don't log into Facebook or other social media sites while using a public Wi-Fi network. Many are poorly secured, leaving openings for scammers to intercept personal data associated with your accounts.
Wendy,
Yes.
which resources do you recommend consulting to verify the authenticity of a website or to find out who created a specific website if the about us information provided is either vague or non-existent?
So if it's a specific website, I would open up another tab and type that website in, and always see that it says HTTPS in front of it and that it's legit. And you could also Google the website and just say, the Google search would be, is this website legit? And a lot of times it would be a scam. Even when you receive a robocall, I always copy and paste that phone number into Google, and it comes up as it's a scam. It's not legit. And people make comments about it. So try to Google that website if you could, and see if there's any information about it online. Social media do's. Do use different passwords for different accounts. Do think carefully about what you post about yourself and your whereabouts. Hackers can use personal information for identity theft, and a vacation photo can signal criminals that your home is empty. We're all guilty of it. We're on Facebook. We go to Aruba on vacation. We want to show everybody the beautiful ocean, the weather, the hotel that we're staying in. I mean, it's an easy target for cyber criminals to act on, that you're not home. So just be careful what you share out there. Do be wary of strangers who attempt to forge closed bonds or romantic relationships on social media, and cut off contact if they start asking for money. So there are grandparent scams. So if you get a call out of the blue, if you get it, sorry about that. So grandparent scams typically work like this. The victim gets a call from someone posing as his or her own grandchild. The person explains in a frantic sounding voice that he or she is in trouble. There's been an accident, an arrest, or a robbery. To up the drama and the urgency, the caller might claim to be hospitalized or stuck in a foreign country to make the impersonation more convincing. He or she will throw in a few family particulars gathered from the actual grandchild's social media activity. Don't drop your guard because the number on your caller ID looks familiar. Scammers can use technological tricks to make it appear that they're calling from a trusted number. Don't volunteer information. Scammers fish for facts. So they could use to make the impersonation believable. So for example, if the caller says, "It's me, Grandpa," don't say your grandchild's name. Wait for the caller to say it. Also, your grandchild may not call you Grandpa, so that also may be a red flag. Don't let a caller rush you into making a decision. Do not send cash, wire money, or provide numbers from a gift or cash reloaded cards to a person claiming to be a grandchild. Scammers prefer those payment methods because they're difficult to trace. Don't panic, no matter how dire the grandchild's predicament sounds. Scam artists want to get you upset to distract you from spotting the ruse. Scammers search Facebook, Instagram, and other social media networks for family information they could use to fool you. Do ask questions that will unlikely be able to answer, such as the name and species of your grandchild's first pet. Do say you'll call them right back, and then call your grandchild's phone number. With luck, he or she will answer, and you'll know that this call is a scam. Do contact other family members or friends and see whether they can verify the story. Scammers plead with you to keep the emergency a secret, precisely so you won't try to confirm it. If you speak to someone who claims to be a police officer, call the relevant law enforcement agency to verify the person's identity and any information that they've given you. Do trust your instincts. Government scams. So if you get a call, I'm sorry, I'm just moving, the faces are blocking my presentation. So if you get a call out of the blue from someone claiming to be from a government agency like the IRS or the Social Security Administration asking you for personal information or money, it's a scam. Your Social Security number cannot be suspended. No one from the government will ever ask you to pay to reactivate your number or obtain a new one. Scammers may make the number displayed on your caller ID appear to be legitimate government number. Never call the number they give you. No, you don't have to verify your Social Security number. If it was a Social Security Administration calling you, they already would have your number in their database. As scary as the call may seem, never give your number to anyone who contacts you. Don't confirm the last 4 digits of your Social Security number, which can be used in some cases to commit identity fraud. Never give out your bank account or credit card information. Common elder fraud scams. So you have romance scams. So criminals pose as interested romantic partners on social media or dating websites to capitalize on their elderly victims to desire to find companions. Tech support scams. Criminals pose as technology support representatives and offer to fix non-existing computer issues. The scammers gain remote access to victims' devices and sensitive information. You have sweepstakes and charity and lottery scams. Criminals claim to work for legitimate charitable organizations to gain victims' trust, or they claim their targets have won a foreign lottery of sweepstakes, which they collect for a fee. TV radio scams. So criminals target potential victims using illegitimate advertisements about legitimate services, such as a reverse mortgage or a credit repair. Then you have family caregiver scams, relatives or acquaintances of the elderly. They take advantage of them or otherwise attempt to take their money. You need to protect yourself. Recognize scam attempts and end all communications with the perpetrator. Search online for the contact information. You could Google people's names, email, phone number, addresses, and the proposed offer. Other people have likely posted information online about individuals and businesses trying to run scams. And that's what I said before. If I get a robocall, I'll copy and paste it into Google and research it. And the same would apply to a website. Resist the pressure to act quickly. Scammers create a sense of urgency to produce fear and lure victims into immediate action. Call the police immediately if you feel there is danger to yourself or a loved one. Be cautious of unsolicited phone calls, mailings, and door-to-door services offers. Never give or send any personal information, money, jewelry, gift cards, checks, or wire information to unverified people or businesses. Make sure all your computer antivirus and software, your security software and malware protections are up to date. Use reputable antivirus software and firewalls. A couple of other things before I proceed with the next slide. On your phones, you could block calls and email addresses. So on your iPhone, you have the ability to block calls, as well as block email addresses, as well as block texts. So there's a feature in your device to block these, block this information. So disconnect from the internet and shut your device if you see a pop-up message or lock screen. Pop-ups are regularly used by perpetrators to spread malicious software. Enable pop-up blockers to avoid accidentally clicking on a pop-up. Be careful what you download. Never open an email attachment from someone you don't know, and be wary of email attachments forwarded to you. Take precautions to protect your identity. If a criminal gains access to your device or account, immediately contact your financial institution to place protections on your accounts and monitor your accounts and personal information for suspicious activity. If you get a call about technical support or a warranty for a specific product you own, hang up, find your warranty or tech support documents and call the number listed on materials. So I do a lot of online banking. So every month I get a statement, and so I bank at Chase. So chase.com sends me an email telling me that my statement is available. I never click on that link. I come out of my email and I go directly to the website and I type in chase.com. Always hover over that email address and make sure it's legit. Emails requesting personal information such as social security numbers, bank routing numbers, and credit card information should be considered suspicious. Never provide this information via email. Do not purchase gift cards as a form of payment and provide the card's PIN number. If you receive a call or an email asking for a payment via a gift card, know that it's a scam. Verify information provided by callers. If a caller says a loved one is in jail and needs help, call that loved one to verify the information. If the IRS needs to get hold of you after first contacting you by mail, an agent may call you to discuss a scheduled audit or confirm an appointment time. But remember, you would have had written notice of the audit received. Utility companies do not come to your home to pick up cash for outstanding bills. Don't believe promises of prizes. Don't provide personal information promising lottery or contest winnings.
Wendy,
Yes.
so if you have your number on the federal do not call list, but you're still getting these scam calls, do you have any advice aside from, blocking the number on your device?
So you can report, actually this slide pretty much says it all. You could contact the Federal Trade Commission, and their number is up here on the slide if you want to take a picture of it. I could, it's 877-438-4338. And their website is www.identitytheft.gov. But it seems ever since the pandemic, that the increase in fraud has increased tremendously. The FTC Commission reported that it received 2.2 million fraud reports from consumers in 2020. So identity theft is on the rise. The main goal of hackers is to gain access to your personal information, which then can be used for fraudulent purposes. So thieves are constantly looking for new ways to trick people into revealing personal information about themselves. Keep your guard up. It is better to be overly cautious. Cleaning up the mess after your identity has been stolen and painful and time-consuming. And prevention and being diligent is really the key. If you do think that you were hacked, definitely call your financial institution. Also, if you do online banking, check your bank account every day. Log on every day. Log on to your credit card websites. You really need to take a look at this information. Set up alerts on your credit cards. This way you get an email of every transaction that is used, and this way you'll know what you're spending. And if you see all of a sudden some Uber rides appearing, or purchases that you didn't purse, you need to notify your bank. Any questions?
Thank you. I was sharing with Wendy before we started the program that Lorik had actually been involved in a situation like this, and I have been fielding phone calls from individuals who received fake checks. And it is a scary situation to talk to these people on the other end of the phone who, were selling something on eBay or, through Facebook, and they're getting these checks and they're cashing them. It's something that you kind of take a step back and you're like, I can't believe this is still happening, that these scams are still going on, but they are.
And I shared with Alicia as well a personal story. I had gone on to the JetBlue website to purchase airline tickets. And at the end of the transaction, an error message appeared that the transaction didn't go through. So I tried calling JetBlue on the phone, and it was an 1.5 hour wait. So I decided to reach out to them via social media through Facebook. And there were two JetBlue message pages. One was JetBlue Airlines and one was JetBlue Customer Service. So I reached out to the JetBlue customer service and I gave them my confirmation number, and they started asking me all these questions. What my name was, what credit card did I use? Could you give me the credit card? And once I saw that, I said, something's not right here. And then they started to send me a link to Bitcoin. And I was caught up in this whole thing as well. Luckily, I did not provide them the information, and I finally got hold of the correct JetBlue Corporation, and everything was sorted out. But I made them aware that there's another social media page that says JetBlue customer service, and it's fraud. And I think it's still up there. They haven't addressed it, but you know, even reaching out on social media to, you think a corporation, you just have to be so on guard and diligent and just be aware. It's scary out there. We just get caught up in these situations, and it could be overwhelming, and everything is so fast moving. And you just really have to take a deep breath and protect yourself. And as I said, go online, check your accounts. Another thing is we're all guilty. We go on websites in unprotected network areas. You really have to be guilty if you log on, you know, to the internet. Make sure it's a secure website, that it's password protected. If you're meeting somebody, even in Starbucks, you have to be careful going into certain accounts. So just be diligent about that.
And do you have any recommendations? You know, a lot of our public libraries have computer spaces on how we can be diligent on our end to help protect our users.
So I'm assuming the libraries have a protected internet. And I'm going to throw this question back at you, if I may. So if I walk in off the street and I want to use the library facility and go on the internet, would you provide me the password to get onto your protected network?
So I'm going to send that over to our attendees today. Since Willrick is not a publicly accessible library, you know, I know in my experience from going to my library, I was able to just kind of log on, but I'm not sure what some of our members might be doing there. So if you want to share how your computers work in your library, that'd be great. You can pop it in the chat, or you can unmute yourself.
Thank you.
Jill said generally there's no password to access Wi-Fi. Same thing. So it looks like they're just open Wi-Fi networks.
And does that apply to the employees as well? Do the librarians have access to the same website?
So it seems that they would have a dedicated Wi-Fi network for the staff. Okay.
So it really isn't a protected network then, if they just connect to the Wi-Fi network. So they do have to be careful.
Is there something that we can put in place that might help protect our patrons that are using our computers?
Yeah, yeah. So basically, it would have to be a protected network. You know, like the staff is using. It would be the same thing. It's if I go to a hotel on vacation and they provide me the password to get onto the network, that means it's protected. And the same thing would apply to the library, that they would provide a code for it to be protected.
And Leela says that the library does let their users know that their Wi-Fi network is unprotected. So I guess that's, you know, one way to inform them.
Yes.
Beverly asks, we found it impossible to get Facebook to take down a Facebook page that was taken over. We both have new pages, but old ones are still up. Any suggestions on how to get Facebook to take them down? They've tried contacting, but it has been proven unsuccessful.
I'll tell you, Facebook, it's really hard to contact them. The only thing that I could suggest is go through, again, Facebook Messenger and reach out to them. Unfortunately, they don't provide a phone number. I could just suggest maybe Google support and maybe an email.
Yeah, it seems that they don't have too much in place to stop those accounts. I know I think we've all probably been hacked more than once on Facebook, and new accounts have been created. And I know personally, contacting them repeatedly still has proven unsuccessful. And I'm wondering if that's just a problem with how Facebook is kind of set up and run.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, they don't give a customer service number, like Amazon does. You could call them, they're great. For some reason, you can't communicate with Facebook. You might be able to even reach out to them over Twitter. Maybe they'll respond that way. But again, you might want to Google Facebook support and see if there's any access to them that way.
Sure. How do we better protect our patrons if we are determined to provide open access, no Wi-Fi password at all hours? Can we protect the network from the inside? Would hackers need to be on site and also using an open Wi-Fi network to hack, or could they be off site and a different Wi-Fi network?
So for you to protect your network, you need to get your IT people in there to have it password protected. The cyber criminals could access the network from external as well.
And I wonder, from our attendees today, is there a specific reason why we are doing these open access and not providing a password? I'm wondering if it's just kind of clunky to have to give that out all the time. I'm not sure on my end, like what goes into protecting your network. It might just be time consuming,
Right.
but it does seem like that's probably the only way to protect it, is to have a password.
If I'm going to a library and I want to go on my iPhone and I just want to, text or check my email, or go to a specific website, it's fine. But I'm just suggesting that just don't go into your personal bank accounts. You want to be in a password protected environment. To go to a library, again, maybe you're doing research, you're getting information on doing a paper. So all that is fine. I'm just suggesting, just stay away from your personal information. Don't go on Facebook. Don't go on Twitter. Don't go on social media. It's because it's not protected. But if you're just surfing the web or emailing or texting, you should be fine.
So Jill notes that libraries often have systems that protect the library computers from being tampered with or anything being downloaded to the computers. So is there a software that we can install that does prohibit downloads?
So that would be part of the setup of the network within the library. I'm sure there are procedures in place that do and don't allow certain pieces of software to be downloaded.
Jill says Deep Freeze, I guess, is the program that she uses at her library. Thank you.
And they don't, and that forbids downloads. That would make sense.
Yeah, so that's another tool we could use to help protect our patrons. I know that there have been, not this past year, but previous, there were a couple of hacks in our libraries from their public access computers. and it's difficult because you want to have accessibility, but you also want to protect your patrons, especially when we're doing services like VITA, which is our tax preparation programs, or assisting with open access market for health insurance, where you might be entering, personal information.
That is true. So this takes place in the library, yes?
Yes.
It might be a question to be brought up, within the library. If you are inputting that personal information, is it being protected? You really need a secure network if you're going to be putting in, social security numbers.
Great. I'm just going to see if we have any more questions.
Also, I'm sorry, one other thing, you should also go in and check your credit report once in a while. There's 3 credit agencies, and if you do banking, you definitely have access to one, and check your credit score. Make sure there's no fraud going on your accounts. You could sign up with one of those credit agencies. They could run monthly reports to make sure that there's no identity theft, and they produce reports for you. So just additional food for thought.
Is there, I know that there's a lot of identity theft protection companies out there. Is there one that you would recommend as being a more trusted over the other? For example, I know like Geico offers me identity theft protection, but is there one that you prefer?
So I just think if you are diligent as far as going online and checking your bank account, your credit card accounts, not reusing your passwords, also keep track of the passwords. And also another thing is, if you're logging onto your bank, don't save your password in there. Always enter it. Do not save passwords when logging onto financial institutions, because you could, there's potential again to be hacked. I just think if you have access to your credit score, make sure there's no fraudulent activity. I don't think it's a must to have any kind of software implemented.
And 2-step authentication is also, I know that, I do that for my own personal email, as well as professional email. And I think there's almost every application you can do a 2-step authentication. I'm not sure about Instagram, but Facebook does.
Yes.
And most email platforms also offer that.
Right. And now a lot of companies are going to 2-factor authentication as well. When you log on, I know the health insurance company that I'm part of, I log in, and then they send me a text to my phone, and I have to put in a security code to get onto the website. And your iPhone can be set up that way as well. And also face recognition is another way. I think that's the direction we're going to be going in once we take our masks off. I think they're going to enforce that more so.
Do you know of a free website where you're able to check all 3 credit reports?
You definitely, if you online, I think if you go online to your bank, you could get a credit report for free, I believe once a year. I know that, this is a personal story. So I use T-Mobile, and T-Mobile was hacked a couple months ago, and email addresses, social security numbers were taken, etc. And basically, they told a letter came out. I changed my password, my PIN, and then they provided a year of I think it was, to one of the credit scores, Experian or one of them. And I have a free access to see if there's any fraud going on. So any of the credit score companies do offer software that you could subscribe to. But again, I think if you just run a credit report, if it's once a year and you check your accounts, you should be fine.
All right, so I think we've gotten through all of the questions. I want to thank Wendy for being with us today. I hope you have taken away some tips on how to protect yourself. And if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to Wendy. Her information is on the slide. And again, keep an eye out for that evaluation that'll be coming out shortly. And I hope everybody has a really wonderful Tuesday. Thank you.
Thank you.